Hello everyone and welcome to my ABCGH Spoilers channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. According to General Hospital GH Spoilers, Kirsten Storms, Maxie Jones has confirmed her return to the show and is back at work, indicating that Maxie's coma awakening is imminent. Maxie will soon open her eyes and reunite with her loved ones. So, GH watchers are excited to see what happens next in her journey. Storm shared a snapshot of herself in front of a mirror with several cards with encouraging messages on Instagram, leaving admirers happy with some positive updates. During her leave of absence, the GH star relocated to Tennessee with her daughter Harper. But Storms confirmed that she had returned to the studio to film. Boom. Storms expressed surprise that 2026 had already arrived. Back to work. I really miss my bug, though. California doesn't feel right without her. Of course, this aligns with the 2026 preview information, which previously stated Maxie will receive a wake-up call shortly. Max's family and friends have waited long enough, so good news is on its way. When Maxie awakens from her coma, she'll be able to see her children again and catch up on everything she missed. Naturally, the most shocking thing that happened while Maxie was comatose was the return of her supposed dead spouse. Nathan West, Ryan Paevey, is still alive. Therefore, Maxie will be shocked when she sees him again. It will be interesting to observe how Maxie reacts to Nathan's return. Maxie may initially protest that this is impossible, but she will eventually discover that the fingerprints and DNA match. James West, Gary James Fuller, may explain that he has been getting to know his father, leaving Maxie reeling from the revelation. Will Maxie realize in her heart that Nathan is her husband after looking into his eyes for herself? Max's genuine feelings may provide insight into where this tale is going. So, we'll keep you updated. Damon Spinelli, Bradford Anderson, may be upset if Maxie believes Nathan is genuine and falls for him again. According to General Hospital Spoilers, Maxie will wake up to a complicated love life. So, don't miss out on all of the craziness that awaits her. The recent developments involving Kirsten Storms and her renowned character Maxie Jones on General Hospital have sparked excitement among the show's devoted fans who have been watching it for decades. Storms returned to social media in early 2026 to give a simple yet powerful update that confirmed what many had been hoping for. She was back on set in Los Angeles, slipping back into the part that had defined so much of her career. The photo, which appeared to be a casual behind-the-scenes look, or perhaps just her cheerful smile accompanied by the words "back at work," quickly sparked debate on fan forums, soap news sites, and social media platforms. For viewers who had been patiently waiting through months of uncertainty, this was the clearest indication yet that Maxie Jones, the passionate, resilient, and often hilariously crazy fashionista and mother from Port Charles, was about to return to the canvas in a meaningful way. To grasp the entire significance of this moment, take a step back and consider how Maxie ended up in such a long and dramatic absence. In the summer of 2025, the tale took a dramatic and unexpected turn when Maxie, the dedicated professional affiliated with the Deception Cosmetics company, appeared in a high-profile program on the Home and Heart Retail channel. During the live presentation, she applied a new face cream product that had been tampered with or contaminated in some way. Details revealed progressively through investigative scenes involving other characters such as Sasha Gilmore, Lucy Company, and the ever-scheming elements within the Deception orbit. What began as a regular advertising appearance swiftly turned tragic when Maxie experienced a severe response, collapsing on set in front of the cameras and falling into a profound coma. The doctors at General Hospital worked quickly to stabilize Elizabeth, but the prognosis remained bleak, prompting the writers to move her character to a specialized long-term care facility in Boston for continuous treatment and surveillance. This coma arc was more than just a plot device. It reflected real-life issues that Kirsten Storms had been facing. The actress had previously battled with major health difficulties such as brain surgery in 2021 to treat an aneurysm. And in early 2025, she publicly stated that she was monitoring another aneurysm diagnosis. These personal fights necessitated a break from the hard filming schedule of a daily soap opera, where actors frequently labor long hours and maintain intense emotional consistency for their characters. General Hospital, known for its supportive environment toward its long-term cast members, met Storms' needs by creating the Coma storyline, which allowed Maxie to be written off temporarily without killing the character. A critical distinction for a fan favorite like Maxie, whose journey on the show has spanned more than 2 decades. Despite Maxie's coma, the show maintained her presence. Poor Charles continued to feel her absence strongly, with family and friends constantly mentioning her illness. Her daughter Georgie Spinelli, named after Max's late sister, grew older in the meantime, with scenes showing Brooklyn Quartermain or others assisting with child care. Spinelli, Max's on-again off-again love and the father of her children, struggled with shame, hope and the realities of single parenting while holding on to the dream that Maxie would one day wake up. Meanwhile, the deception storyline took darker turns, with suspicions pointing to sabotage either tied to business rivals or internal betrayals that had been boiling for months. The Tainted Cream event sparked greater questions, bringing in individuals like Cody Bell, who had his own brushes with deception, as well as connections to larger Port Charles threats like Cyrus Renaud or residual ghosts of former villains. As the weeks turned into months, fans became restless. Soap operas depend on momentum, and losing a key character like Maxie, known for her quick wit, staunch dedication to friends, and ability to inject comedy into even the most serious plots, left a notable hole. Online petitions circulated. Fan edits of Maxie's best moments gained popularity, and debate raged about when or if Storms might return. Some speculated that the Coma may result in a recast, but the show's reputation of loyalty to its veterans rendered that improbable. Others speculated that the plot was building up to a dramatic awakening, possibly coinciding with a major sweep or holiday period to enhance emotional effect. Then followed the confirmation in January 2026. Storms' back at work declaration, together with news from reputable soap outlets, confirmed that production for Maxie's scenes had resumed. Spoilers started to surface more concretely. Maxie's coma was about to an end, and her return to screens was set for mid-February, precisely around February 12. This date was significant because it corresponded to the rhythm of daytime television, which frequently airs crucial returns on weekdays to grab peak viewership. The build-up promised an explosive re-entry, with murmurs of disclosures related to Maxie's stay in the coma, dream sequences perhaps, or subconscious signs that would reveal ongoing puzzles when she awoke. Imagine the scene that fans have been waiting for so long. Maxie flutters her eyelashes for the first time in months in a quiet hospital room in Boston, with monitors beeping quietly and sunshine pouring through half-drawn blinds. A nurse notes the change, summons doctors, and the story spreads quickly back to Port Charles. Spinelli receives the call while balancing job and family, his expression ranging from tiredness to stunned excitement. He hurries to her side, possibly with Georgie in tow, as Maxie gradually regains consciousness. Her first words may be drowsy and puzzled, peppered with Maxie's trademark sarcasm. What did I miss? Did deception finally launch that lipstick line without me? But underlying the comedy is vulnerability. The path to recovery will be difficult. Physical rehabilitation, emotional processing of lost time, and the shock of seeing how the world has carried on without her. Max's waking will definitely set off a series of dramatic confrontations. The Tainted Cream scheme, which has hung over deception like a shadow, may finally come to fruition. Was it an accident or intentional sabotage by a jealous competitor? Did someone, perhaps Holly Sutton or a returning villain, have a hand in it? Max's keen intuition, assuming she regains her strength, will make her an important part in uncovering the truth. Her connections will change as well. Spinelli's dedication throughout her absence may have strengthened their bond or highlighted unresolved conflicts from their tangled background. Friendships with Lulu Spencer, who has her own complex family dynamics, and Anna Dean, who frequently acts as a maternal figure, will be challenged and renewed. Beyond the immediate drama, Maxie's reappearance creates opportunities for new storytelling. The character has always served as a link between generations as the daughter of Frisco and Felicia Jones, mother to James and Georgie, and past stepmother in various roles. Her reintroduction allows the drama to delve into issues of perseverance, second chances, and the passing of time. In a soap opera world where characters frequently suffer life-altering events, Max's coma and awakening serve as a metaphor for real-life interruptions and comebacks, mirroring Storm's own journey. Fans have witnessed her transformation from a wild teen to a loving mother and successful woman, and this chapter adds another element to her continuing appeal. Kirsten Storms lends a dimension to Maxie that few could match. Max's inherent comedic timing blends perfectly with profound dramatic beats, making her one of the most flexible characters on the canvas. Storms has previously expressed her excitement in returning to the post that has served as her professional home for so long. And her recent health updates indicate a newfound vitality. The Back at Work post was more than just a status update. It was a comfort to fans that the actress is ready to dig back in, bringing Maxie back to life with the same zeal that has carried the character through heartache, joy, and everything in between. As February approaches, expectation grows. Will Maxie remember everything right away, or will there be gaps that build suspense? What impact will her presence have on present pairings or alliances in Port Charles? The writers of the show have a rich tapestry to draw from. Max's history with Nathan West, whose resurfacing in some capacity during her coma, added layers of intrigue, possibly involving imposters or long-lost connections, her friendships with the Scorpio Jones clan, and her professional ambitions with deception. Each piece promises valuable content for future episodes. The greater implications for General Hospital cannot be understated. Maxie's homecoming breathes new life into the ensemble, reminding viewers why the program has lasted over 60 years, intriguing individuals confronting unusual circumstances with real humanity. Storm's confirmation of returning to work is not just a personal milestone, but also a celebration for the Maxie Jones fanbase. It's a promise that the story will continue, that hope will endure even after lengthy stretches of silence, and that Port Charles will be a little brighter, a little more chaotic, and a lot more fun now that Maxie has returned. In the days preceding up to her on-screen awakening, fans will most likely review previous episodes, share theories, and brace for the emotional payout. When Maxie opens her eyes, it will be more than just a character's recovery. It will be a symbol of both fictitious and actual fortitude. Kirsten Storms' return to that same scene, screenplay in hand, epitomizes Max's unwavering tenacity. The coma may have interrupted her tale, but it did not terminate it. Poor Charles eagerly awaits her return, ready for whatever whirlwind Maxie brings next. With Storms officially back at work, that whirlwind feels closer than ever, ready to sweep over the lives of everyone she cares about. The monitors buzzed softly in the dim hospital room, a constant beat that had become background noise for everyone who had taken turns sitting by Maxie Jones' bedside. The curtains were partially drawn, allowing in a flood of pale afternoon light that made the room feel suspended between night and day. Fear and hope. For days, if not weeks, poor Charles had been holding its breath, hoping for some hint that Maxie might return. Spinelli sat in the chair closest to the bed, laptop closed for once, fingers twisted together so tightly that his knuckles were white. He had been talking to her, rambling about everything and nothing, about Georgie and James, and how the kids were doing their homework and wondering when Mommy would get home. Brooklyn's latest scam at deception, and how he vowed himself he'd never get involved in corporate espionage again. He spoke because quiet terrified him more than anything. "Okay, Max," he replied softly, leaning forward. "I know you're probably tired of hearing my voice by now, but just in case you're bored in there, the world is still spinning, even without you bossing it around." The corner of his mouth twitched, a melancholy half-smile that didn't quite sink in. Across the room, Felicia Jones stood with Max Scorpio, her hand on his arm. Felicia's gaze never left her daughter. She had seen Maxie struggle through so many things in her life. Loss, heartbreak, poor decisions, and even worse consequences, but this was different. This was absolute helplessness. Watching your child lie quiet while machines breathed for her changed something in your soul. "She's strong," Felicia said softly. More to herself than to Mac. "She always has been," Max said, grabbing her hand and grounding her. "Yeah, and stubborn. She didn't receive that from me." Outside the room, the hospital buzzed with its normal controlled bustle. But there was a peculiar stillness around Max's door, as if the entire structure was waiting. Then something happened. Spinelli initially believed he had dreamed it because it was so subtle, a faint movement. Maxie twitched her fingers against the pristine white sheet. He froze, his breath caught in his throat. "Max," he spoke barely above a whisper. Her fingers moved again. This time there was no denying it. Spinelli rose to his feet in an instant. "Nurse," he called, his voice cracking. "I need a nurse urgently." Felicia ran forward, her heart pounding against her rib cage. "What is it? What happened?" She moved, Spinelli whispered, pointing, fearful that if he stopped staring, she might fall back into silence. She moved her hand. Within seconds, the room was packed with medical personnel. A nurse took Maxie's vital signs while a doctor shined a light into her eyes. The machines that had been steady now appeared almost joyful, with their beeps becoming more vibrant and alive. Maxie fluttered her eyelids. Felicia's palm rushed to her mouth and tears streamed down her cheeks. "Oh my God," she gasped. "Maxie, baby." Maxie Jones slowly opened her eyes as if waking from a deep sleep. They were initially inattentive and confused, but they were open, and that was all. Spinelli bent over her, tears running down his cheeks. Unabashed. "Hey," he exclaimed, his voice breaking into laughter and sobbing all at once. "Hello, Grey Heroine." Maxie parted her lips, but said nothing. She gazed slightly, apparently attempting to figure out where she was and why everything seemed so heavy. The doctor softly intervened, explaining calmly that she was in the hospital, that she had been in a coma, and that her awakening was a very promising indication. Felicia took her daughter's hand, cautious and reverent. "You scared us," she said gently. "But you are here now. That's all that matters." Maxie blinked again, finally focusing on her mother. A tear ran down the side of her face. Kids," she rasped, her voice and barely audible. Spinelli nodded swiftly. "They're okay. They are perfect. They can't wait to see you." Her eyes closed briefly, relief sweeping over her face before opening again. This time there was determination as well, the familiar Maxie fire flickering back into life. Word spread quickly in Port Charles. By the time Maxie was stabilized and resting again, the news had spread around the town like a wave of hope. Brooklyn at Deception paused in mid-sentence when the phone rang. Lucy Company dropped her phone completely, gripping her chest in dramatic relief. Even those who had previously disagreed with Maxie, who had fought her, condemned her, and undervalued her, felt the transformation. Maxie Jones was awake. Kirsten Storms stood in front of her dressing room mirror, taking a deep breath. After being away, the studio's usual hum felt weird. The lights, the halls, the echoes of voices she'd heard for years, it all hit her at once. She adjusted her jacket, her mirror looking at her with a mix of nervousness and excitement. "I'm back," she said quietly to herself, a faint smile developing. Returning to work for Kirsten meant more than just resuming her previous position. It was about recovering a piece of herself, about resilience, about showing up even when life threw the toughest punches. The actors and crew greeted her with open arms. Hugs were given, some tight and lasting, others humorous and light. There were jokes about Maxie never taking things lightly, and her comebacks were always dramatic. Laughter boomed across the sound stage, the type that only comes from shared memories and true affection. When Kirsten stepped onto the set, the energy changed. Cameras are adjusted. Crew members leaned in. It was more than simply another workday. It was a moment. Back on screen, Max's waking caused emotional shock waves among her family and friends. Later in the evening, the hospital room became quieter. Max's visiting hours were almost finished, and she was fatigued yet awake, her eyes clearing. She saw Spinelli carefully reposition a chair closer to the bed while seeming not to hover. "You can sit," she murmured, her voice still feeble, but filled with Max's distinct cynicism. Spinelli rubbed his eyes and smiled. "I'm not going anywhere." "Too soon," he confessed. But yes, I'll take it. Felicia had stepped out to make a few calls, giving them some privacy. Maxie allowed herself to gaze at him for the first time since waking up. The man who had loved her through the tumult and returned even when she had driven him away. I heard you, she replied quietly. Spinelli remained still. You did what? In there, she said, tapping her temple lightly. I could not move. I couldn't respond, but I did hear you talking about the children, about everything. His throat clenched. I was afraid you couldn't. You kept me tethered, Maxie replied simply. I think that's why I found my way back. His expression was filled with intense emotion. Then I'll keep talking for the rest of my life if that's what it takes. She smiled again, this time genuinely. As the days passed, Maxie's rehabilitation became the focal point of Port Charles talk. Doctors remained cautiously optimistic. Physical treatment was scheduled. There were warnings about pushing too hard, being patient, and the long journey ahead. Maxie mainly listened, but anyone who knew her realized that slowing down would never be simple. Visitors arrived in waves. Brooklyn delivered fashion mags and gossip. Na approached with a timid smile and a tangled history in between them. Even Carly stepped in, expressing support with genuineness that startled them both. Throughout it all, Maxie remained obviously herself, bright, emotive, humorous, and occasionally reckless. One afternoon, as she sat propped up against pillows, watching the sun set through the window, she turned to Felicia. Mom, she stated. Yes, sweetheart. I don't remember everything, Maxie acknowledged. Some pieces are missing. And it frightens me. Felicia reached for her hand. That is okay. You don't have to recall everything right now. You just need to be here. Maxie agreed, swallowing hard. I almost wasn't. But you are, Felicia stated firmly. And that means something. This meant everything. Back in the studio, Kirsten Storms had the same sense of purpose. Each scene in line had greater weight. Fans would notice it. The authenticity and heart underlying Max's comments, because this was not simply acting. Survival bled into fiction. Maxie Jones was not simply waking up from a coma. She was waking up with a second opportunity. In Port Charles, second chances were rare, valuable, and frequently confusing. As night fell over the city, the hospital room became quiet again. Maxie closed her eyes, this time out of faith rather than dread. Trust that she will open them again. Believe that she was not alone. Outside, life in Port Charles continued, messy, dramatic, and unexpected. But for the first time in a long time, hope seemed to speak stronger than dread. Maxie was back.